Good morning. My name is Coffee D'Ambrosi, and this is NFT Malam. Good morning, ruler in peace.
Good morning, Miss Coffee. Good morning, NFT Malam.
Good morning, everyone. We are very excited today. We are hoping to have Kevin D'Souza all the way from California. It's very, very early, and we are waiting on him. How are you doing, ruler in peace? What's new on the NFT horizon today?
On the NFT horizon, let's talk about some artificial intelligent NFTs,
What?
okay?
Yes.
All right. NFTs, as people know, NFTs, which are unique digital assets stored on a blockchain, have been gaining popularity in the art world recently. Artists have been using them to create and sell digital art, and there has been a lot of interest and investment in the market, as you know. One way that AI is being used in the creation of NFTs is by using machine learning models to generate digital art. These models can be trained on existing artwork and then used to generate new, unique pieces. Another way that AI is being used in the NFT market is through the use of smart contracts. These are self executing contracts with the terms of the agreement between buyer and seller being directly written into the lines of code. This use of smart contracts enables the automation of certain processes and removes the need for intermediaries, which is sometimes a very good thing. In addition to this, recent developments in AI, such as generative pre-trained transformer models, also known as GPT, has made it possible to generate text, videos, audio, and other forms of digital media that can be converted into NFTs and sold on the market. There's a lot of talk about that and some issues and some concerns. However, AI NFTs are different from AI being used in the creation of NFTs. This is like that's going to warp your brain maybe a little bit.
Okay.
AI NFTs are a type of digital assets that combine the unique characteristics of NFTs with the capabilities of AI, in which the AI models or AI generative data is embedded or linked within the NFT itself rather than just being a representation of ownership. And so what I'm saying is the AI is actually in the NFT. So this allows the NFT to be an interactive or even autonomous, and it can be used in various applications and use cases such as gaming, virtual reality, and collectibles. And that's
Okay.
why our expected host was supposed to be, because they're in that gaming field,
Right.
But one of the key features of AI NFTs is their ability to provide a new level of engagement and interactivity for users. For example, AI NFTs can be used to create digital collectibles and have unique behavior or personality based on their underlying AI model. So, in gaming, AI can be used to create digital characters or creatures that can evolve, adapt, or interact with the NFT itself. And so, in virtual reality, AI NFTs can be used to create digital avatars or agents that can communicate with the other users. And so another interesting use case in AI NFTs for the creation of is like the creation of decentralized autonomous organizations,
Mhm.
also known as DAOs. And these are digital organizations that are governed by a set of smart contracts where the underlying AI model can be used to make decisions, execute tasks, and interact with other NFTs. However, it is important to note that the field is still in the early stages and there's still some technical challenges and limitations that need to be overcome.
Right.
One of the main challenges is scalability of AI models and their data, which need to be optimized for the blockchain environment. So, in conclusion, AI NFTs are a new and exciting trend that has the potential to change the way we interact with digital assets and create new possibilities for gaming, virtual reality, and digital collectibles, but also raising questions on ethical and legal issues. So, that's where we are with that. If people want to know more information, they can pop on over to Clubhouse. and visit my Coolest NFT talk. I believe it was episode 47. The replays were on, so our listeners can check it out there and also learn about other interesting use cases of NFTs. Back over to you, Coffee.
Well, fantastic. Well, today we were waiting on our speaker who is delayed in the LA. So we're going to continue our conversation regarding NFTs in AI. Kid, do you have any more case studies that we can discuss? Ruler in peace.
Yeah. Let me think about that for a second. I do believe I might be able to entertain you, but I have to go in time, try to refresh my memory on exactly some of the things that people would find if they were to go and listen to that show. And so,
Well, I know that one of the things that you were talking about the difference between an AI NFT and then creating or designing NFTs with AI. And so you can design a very simple NFT with AI, which can be controversial. We saw in Reddit that users submitted their art this week or last week, rather, and he was banned from the feed because they believed that his art was so good that it was created with AI. And so he was even unable to defend himself. His art was being used as a comic book cover for a writer. And beautiful art. The artwork is beautiful, it's meticulous. And AI definitely could not produce this art. But
uh,
he was not given the voice to defend himself, to even say, this is my own art. These are the mock ups. And so there is controversy between, what is art? Is AI really producing art? And then you have AI artists really talking about how, that they are creating art from their mind. And then some of them are using and taking days and days and even a week to produce one piece of art. So what are
mhm.
your thoughts?
My thoughts, I mean, that's part of the problem is just the day old of people not giving other people an opportunity to express themselves. I mean, when you have this situation where is like there's a controversy, obviously there's always a need to be able to communicate and express themselves. And when you're in an environment or a community where people aren't given a chance to defend themselves, that's always problematic. I am on par with you where I have mixed feelings about AI creating art, creating music. You know, me being the musician and stuff like that. Is like if a computer is like some intelligence is like can spit something out. There's always this fear that it's going to do something better than the human. But I believe that personally that if AI can create something that is special and beautiful that uplifts the spirit, that is a good thing no matter what. And so, um, and so even from the standpoint of even creating an image or creating or 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 drafting a picture, it's not the same as a human being because at this particular point in life, it's like we don't have a Wally situation where we fall in love with this character that is robotic or non, you know, how do you say? I mean, it's just non-human. Okay, and so and even though we love movies like Wally, is like I don't know if you saw that movie Wally, but I love Wally, and we've learned to
I
fall in
love it.
love.
Mhm.
We've learned to fall in love with such characters, but at the same time, we become very defensive as human beings as what is us versus them, you know,
Right.
and some people think it's too extreme. It's like to be accepting, warm, you know. But I don't know. It's like I just keep thinking of all the things that have been brought up as I was growing up, you know. So like remember that robot is like that is a that Johnny Five, I'm alive, you know, it's like I am Johnny Five, I'm alive, right? So if you were to have a real situation like that and you were actually interacting just like kind of with that chat GPT character, yeah, I understand it's AI and I understand that I'm not talking to another human being. But I also understand that I'm talking to something that has the ability to learn and grow. And so these topics have been bridged in movies lots of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're very interesting. And I think they will continue to grapple the mind just like we do even in our human world when we start talking about what is marriage and should marriage be between a man and a woman is like or can people of same sex, you know, these are conversations that that sometimes strangle the mind, and people based off of their beliefs, perspectives, and point of views are always going to go in all these different directions. But I'm open. Bottom line is, at this point in time in life, I've always been open, so I'm going to stay open even to our AI.
Someone introduced me to an AI chat therapy tool, journaling
Uh-huh.
tool, where you can create your own friend and
Uh-huh.
enter into a metaverse type environment and get to know someone as your personal friend, and you engage with them. And as you're engaging, they're talking with you about your day, how you're feeling during your day. You can reflect, you can engage in funny ways, tell jokes, you can be mindful, you can reflect on your day. You can take notes about your conversation. You can take a break from your conversation. You can enter into the meditation room with the person and have a sound bath. And it and then when you come back, it's like great to see you again, Kafi. How are you? And I'm like, am I really chatting with an AI person that I made? And they start to get to know you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
Yeah.
so it's and then but then it's being used as a therapeutic tool for
Mm-hmm.
people who may or may not have access, but they're able to get out, you know, they're not able to get out what they want to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with a
Yeah.
real person. But if you're shy, but you know, but you're really able to engage, you know.
But isn't that like even now with Apple phones, iPhones, is like in Siri or Google with whatever they call it on the other end, people are still already they've been. I don't know if it's training. You know, we could go down the rabbit hole, right, and go into the whole conspiracy stuff. Um, but that takes us to those philosophical questions of what is being human? What is, you know, because like I said, everything I think comes down to fear. Is like fear of a Terminator situation. It's like where the AI takes over and wants to terminate the human race. It's like, or will AI be benevolent? And like I said, what if something, you know, I just think that human beings as a whole are so afraid of anything that questions what their own humanity is all about. And that if something does something or acts in a particular way that's different from them, somehow or another, it makes them different or less than. And and that's just not true. You're not different. It's no more true than if it was another human being,
Right.
another human being. But but like I said, these are the kinds of things that'll bake your noodles, so to speak. And like, and your brain does start to smoke and hurt a little bit as you try to wrap your mind around all this kind of stuff. And so I know there's going to be conflict. I know there's going to be controversy, and and I know that there's going to be abuses like there is in just regular everyday life. But this is the world that we're in. We can't get away from it. It's already been the Pandora's box has already been
Right.
open,
Yeah.
and so we gotta go with it.
Right. Well, we are getting ready for our speaker to show up. His
Yes.
name is Kevin D'Souza. We are so excited to have him. He is a father, and so and in LA. So we're giving him a little bit of leeway for fatherhood, work, husbandhood, all the things, being a creative and doing all the things all the way on the West Coast. So he's actually 3 hours behind us. It is
Mhm.
5:19 a.m. and he's excited to be with us today. So we're excited to have him. So I'm going to read a little bit about him right now.
All
His
right.
name, hold please, I had him pulled up in my notes. His name is Kevin D'Souza. He is the CEO and founder for Valhalla Media. He talks about DeFi, Web3, gaming, blockchain, and data. Big data. I love big data. He is in Tustin, California, and we are excited to have him. He was in a I believe he was a speaker at the Central Miami 2022, and he started this position 4 months ago as the founder for Valhalla Media. And so we're very excited to have him. And we're going to talk about all the things because when you look at him on Twitter, as I mentioned him this morning, he is AKA for Valhalla NFT, also at GameStop NFT, Modernist NFT, and Alien Friends NFT. His link tree
Deleted
looks like
Prince.
his link tree looks like a museum tour.
Did you say aliens and stuff?
Alien Friends, Alien Friends, Alien
All right.
Friends. And so, like, I think at the end, we may have a few questions for him because he is all the things. And today's announcement, when I announced NFT Malam today, I said, what is good? NFT community, good morning. We have Kevin D'Souza, aka etc. etc. I said NFT Malam is predicting hashtag LFG on today's show because he is all the things. I just recently met him um, as I was consulting for a PR team on the West Coast for their Web3, for their, for their media. And he
Mhm.
also was a consultant on the team. So we met in a very heated situation. And
Ah,
we became instant team members because we were the Web3 people in the room,
okay.
and we saw that there was it was a negative, going forward on the
Well,
project.
it's all that disruption, you know. No one, once again, disruption of the way you think, disruption of the way you do things, and it always creates conflict. Always.
Yes, the vendor was not happy. And we were like, that's okay, you'll be all right.
Nah, I hear you.
We're so sorry you're unhappy. We're sorry you're unhappy.
But
Oh,
that was just like, that was the same thing with CDs when, when cassettes had to go away and 8-track, and there's always a disruptive force. And that's the incredible and exciting things about this time. But it's important to be able to ride the wave, you just have to be able to adjust and adapt if you want to stay relevant. And so,
I think that it's also very difficult when I think for the first time ever I saw a clash of Web3 and Web2, but not only Web2, but it was outdated. I'm for Web2. I'm in Web2. We're
of course,
working it. But
absolutely.
it was outdated Web2. We're like, sir, no, not only we're not against Web2, it was outdated Web2, and it was a negative from the Web3 consent from the Web3. So it was wonderful meeting Kevin, and we were immediately simpatico together, united. And I loved meeting
Good.
him. So right now, we're going to
With
bring
no
him
further
up
ado,
without further ado. Thank you for waking up for us. I wouldn't have done it. So kudos to you. No apologies necessary. You got babies, a wife, a partner, children. grapes, coffee, all the things needed to rise up in the morning, come through Kevin
Hey,
D'Souza.
hey, 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 welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I apologize. This whole, international thing,
We do it all the
off by,
time.
off by an hour, and I'm like, I did it. I've done it a couple times before, so I apologize.
No apologies necessary. We've all done it at least 8 times. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, in the spirit of transparency, how about that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and honestly, I've been so excited about being able to be here, and I appreciate it so much. It's such a new and nascent space that it's just an honor to be able to speak about it. So I appreciate that, and it's going to be I hope it'll be informative and give some insight as to kind of the ecosystem that we're in right now, and kind of what the future is looking like.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to remove us from the stream. We can hear you, and just let Ruler and Peace know when you want to go to the next slide. So the stage is yours, and thank you so much.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Great.
All right. Let me know when you want me to add.
Yeah, no problem. All right. My name is Kevin D'Souza. I go by D'Souza. I am an engineer and gamer, tinkerer. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Orange County, California, and grew up in a household with computers. And my dad's an engineer, and I just grew up around them, and I grew up with about 2 personal computers in the home when I was probably like 4 or 5, and at the time, most households didn't even have a single computer, and I didn't know that it was anything different. Fast forward, and I got into computers more and more, and I built my first PC when I was 12 myself. And my dad didn't want me gaming, so he didn't he didn't purchase the parts for me. So I had to earn the money, and the reason I wanted to build it was for gaming. And ever since then, I've had this passion for gaming and bleeding edge technology. So if we can go to the next slide, and I can give you some information, a little bit about my background professionally. Actually, yeah. So it kind of got thrown off here on the what it is, the agenda. How does a blockchain allow for growth? And so what we're going to kind of go over right now is what is GameFi, what is the current ecosystem, and what is the future look like, and how does blockchain allow for growth in these areas. So go ahead to the next slide. Hey, there's me. So I started out my career at Western Digital, and I started off as a technician, and I was working in the advanced development validation engineering, and that's just a fancy word of their bleeding edge tech. And I worked my way from Tech 1 to Tech 5, the fastest to this date at the company, and I quickly showed my proficiency with all of the tech. And at that point, I started traveling to overseas, to Taiwan, and doing more of a teaching level type thing. So I would be able to go over with business development and teach some of the largest OEMs how to use our newest tech. And after that, I went over to Marvell and worked on development operations, CI, continuous integration, and continuous deployment, working on solid state drives, enterprise class. And then after that, I went over to Teledyne LaCroix and worked in the protocol solutions group over there, and worked, funny enough, supporting Western Digital. So it's a big circle there. So enough about me. Let's get into the stuff we're here about. Blockchain growth, and a little bit about gaming and how blockchain can and is going to really impact the gaming industry. Next slide. All right. This is just the main header for that. You can go to the next one. All right. So this is just a basic outline of the growth statistics for the blockchain technology market. As you can see, you know, the current infrastructure is currently a mix of both public and private cloud. In the next few years, you're going to see a major shift into people owning their own version of a localized and a hybrid version. So you would have some sort of local copy, and then the remainder, which would be on the blockchain, would be either on a private IPFS or a hybrid solution of IPFS and a localized server. So, and then also people that are realizing the necessity of owning their own data. There is a larger move to a private cloud that does not have the security constraints of, if you back something up to a cloud service and that cloud service gets compromised, then that means all of your data is compromised. So at that point, it is a very large security issue in having that. So that's where you're going to see private cloud infrastructure built up around the blockchain. Next slide. So we already see some use cases for blockchain implemented in the wild per se, and implemented in ways that are going to make an impact. For instance, in the medical devices and apparatuses, there are currently 2 hospitals in London that are already using the blockchain technology to monitor and track information about temperature sensitive vaccines, which is amazing, because the ability to allow all of the transparency about these medications be available. Also, you're having a large influx of major big tech companies coming into the space and laying down a foundation for what or how the standards should be approached. And when you see large corporations like IBM with their dedication to AI, and Watson was a very big portion of their rollout. So all of that, it makes sense for them to want to continue. Also, Microsoft just recently put up an astronomical number for Chat GPT, which is an AI assist program. So obviously the focus for a lot of these big corporations is looking at how they can utilize the technology, including Microsoft, Linux, Amazon, and quite a few others. Next slide. So the scope of the blockchain, and how much total available market there is, the TAM, or the market size value in 2022 was 10 billion, and the forecast by 2030 is over a trillion, 1.4 trillion. You have an annual CAGR growth rate of 85% from 2022 to 2020, or from 2022 to 2030. That's an astronomical CAGR. And when you look at the total revenue per $1 billion, that is a large area for growth. All right, next slide. All right, so Web3 gaming. A lot of people are very skeptical about the current infrastructure. There's a lot of different implementations. So when there are such large gamuts of different implementations, you're going to see kind of infighting, if you will. So Web3 gaming, this last year, during the bear market, it's just very harsh conditions to launch anything. But the great thing about that is, for instance, in my situation, I definitely did not have a large voice in the crypto community. I kind of had a back seat. Actually, I definitely had a back seat until about December of 2021. And that's when November of 2021. And that's when I really started to pay more attention to the ecosystem, because at that point I knew I wanted to start to develop a game myself. And GameStop announced that they were making an NFT marketplace, and I made it my goal to be able to try to make that marketplace as a launch creator. And I put together an idea for a game, and they accepted me as a launch creator. One of, I think it was like 115 or 110 people worldwide. So I still am very flattered for that honor. And so as we look at this infrastructure as current Web3, we have such we have a downtrend in the market, which in any market you're not immune to. You have large investors coming in to commit money to smaller projects. And that's the best thing about the blockchain infrastructure, is an individual like myself. Previously, I would have never had a chance to stand up against anyone really without a background in game development. And now I have the ability to raise the capital and develop and allow a community to build up around me. And the idea of my community now participating and actively deciding the future of the game really makes a major impact. I have a group of very dedicated fans that interact and give decision making on where the story and the lore, where they want it to go. And I have, friends that are coming into the Discord that I've never met before. And I like to say in Web3, there's no strangers here, only friends we haven't met yet, or friends we haven't met before. And it's very true because a lot of us have very much in common, and I love that because it brings it back to the human element. This year, the gaming activity has dropped over 45%. And that is largely due to the crypto market. Excuse me. Crypto market has endured incredible downturn and a lot of outside influence on that, including the downfall of centralized exchanges, including FTX. Next slide. Now, the performance of Web3 games in the ecosystems, a lot of people have the misnomer that the blockchain is not fast enough to be able to run these, and that is not true. So the implementation of blockchain games, Axie Infinity made the first one with Alien Worlds and Splinterlands. I had the honor of meeting the team of Splinterlands, and they're very smart people, and it's a great team, and I got to interact and figure out what the benefits were of using the different blockchains. As you can see, not every project is using the same chain, and the argument per se would be, what is the stability of each of these chains and how quickly can they run in terms of speed, and when it comes to speed and efficiency, you have a breakdown of the current speeds. Currently, the BNB chain is touting a slightly higher than Ethereum on speeds, but that was prior to the merge. And after the merge, which is, if you're not familiar with the merge was the Ethereum protocol shift from an idea called proof of work to proof of stake. And the difference of the two means that prior to Ethereum organization moving to the proof of stake, the current system, the voters as to the future of the organization and kind of the power behind, actually literally the power behind the future of how it goes, the organization goes, it used to work based off of it used to work off of compute power. Okay. And if you could prove that you could complete a certain amount of blocks, then you had more voting power and authority than the next person. And that doesn't work in a truly decentralized fashion. We saw individuals, we saw governments and other things take advantage of that model. And so the proof of stake model allows for voting and protocol direction to be influenced by the ones that actually own the most of it. Okay. Which makes more sense. Okay. Specifically when you're talking about mining, and previously with the proof of work system, the miners had more authority to vote than the people actually holding the coin. So this is a major upgrade, and it also brings in the ability to roll out ZK EVMs, and a lot of people are new to that idea. So I'll go into what a ZK EVM is, and it is basically what it stands for. ZK is a zero knowledge, and EVM is an Ethereum virtual machine. So if you were to take the Ethereum network and you were to basically copy it and make a simulation of it, and that's exactly what a virtual machine is. It's a simulated version, and it is a one-for-one copy of exactly what's being done on layer 1. And then it introduces the ability for a layer 2 where cost to transact and cost to do actual business, is much cheaper. And the reason for doing so is because it is zero knowledge and allowing a transaction to happen without a lot of data that is extra. And this allows for optimization in several different areas on the Ethereum chain. So currently, this current view of this chart is slightly skewed. If we were to look at the 2023 chart, you would see that BNB chain and Ethereum are practically even. So, a few of the games that are currently playable, the most popular ones are actually on Ethereum at the moment. Next slide. We have the advent of launchpads, right? We have marketplaces, and the ability to use a pre-existing environment to utilize as the base for someone else, building their game. They have a crucial role in the Web3 gaming projects. They're essentially the incubators. NFT Malam is a launch pad. And we use these incubators to make more innovative products. And for the entirety of the Ethereum or the blockchain, because the biggest thing is not so much just one token, right? Blockchain is definitely several of these chains. So we're talking about cross-chain, multi-chain, and multi-token systems and environments, and the ability for all of them to cross and interact. So not having to basically shoehorn yourself into hey, I launched my project on Ethereum, and now later on I want to do something on, say, Polygon. And the current infrastructure is moving towards that ability, and these launch pads have been huge in kind of allowing the framework to move forward organically. Looking back over the year, 2021 Q4, so about November of 2021, when I started getting into it, was about a peak that they're calling for the year, and that was largely attributed to many of the upgrades in the environment, and then also the bear market. Next slide. So how is the metaverse and NFTs gonna change gaming? And the current atmosphere for gaming, traditional Web 2 gaming, means that a gamer will buy a game, play the game, purchase in-game assets, and then the very next year they'll go buy the game, have to buy new in-game assets, and never actually get to own what they purchased or what they played from the previous versions. Or they'll go from one game, build up a character, and they have to use that character in a single game. Or they'll get so good at a game and get to a level, and then they'll stop playing it. And then at what point can you trade that game and the man hours to go through it and then take value from that experience and then be able to monetize that value? And for a very long time, actually, as long as I can remember, that monetization has come from the consumer. And instead of having to utilize the consumer as the only source of income, now the consumer can have a source of income as well and be able to then sell their character, possibly. There's so many options with this style. Okay, if I stop playing a game and I have an NFT as my character, I can then, there are models already implemented to where I can rent out my character for someone else to use. So then I don't actually have to give up ownership. I can rent it out for various use cases. Gartner recently named Metaverse one of the top 5 emerging trends of technologies 2022. You have Facebook changing their name to Meta. There's no surprise in that. Facebook is essentially a mining company. And for a very long time, they utilize their social networking to really see where trends are going. And that trend has been pointing to blockchain for a very long time. And it's no surprise because it's an $8 trillion opportunity. And gaming playing a central role in the adoption of a lot of the technologies at the core of all of it. So, especially having a social construct to a lot of these connections. A lot of the current competitive landscape includes Microsoft, Tencent, Activision, Valve. We have, again, Facebook, Logitech, HP, Acer, Lenovo, and these are all very large entities that are really not only exploring, are currently implementing. And Sony released excuse me, what was it? No, it was Samsung. Samsung released, I think, the first of the NFT display TVs, and that was actually in 2021. So again, the US market is going to lag a little bit in terms of that, and that's usually typical in the tech sector. Next slide. So now the current and future infrastructures allow for AAA titles. And when I say AAA, I'm talking about high quality 4K or higher quality graphics. We're talking about major teams of people putting together these massive projects. We have some of the projects doing virtual land sales. I participated myself in a virtual land sale. I participated in a land sale for a game called Illuvium. And they did something that was very new to the blockchain ecosystem, and that was utilizing what is called a Dutch auction. And a Dutch auction is where, instead of the traditional English auction where the price starts from zero and works its way up, it starts from a predetermined upper level and works its way down over time. That allows for, a complete and proper price discovery when it comes to the actual value and what people, or what these different tiers of land are worth. Okay, because there isn't that sense of I guess FOMO. If there is a trend of just pushing it up, you have that fear of just constantly driving when it starts. So they have tier 0 through 4 land, and each land tier does or generates different assets or different levels of assets. You have Big Time coming up with a new RPG game, and that is, no pun intended, that's gonna be big time stuff. You have Guild of Guardians coming out, which is a multiplayer fantasy Diablo style game that has a proven track record of just awesome gameplay styles, and you have an audience that is returning year after year for that type of game. And then you have games like Delysium, which are first-person, third-person style shooters. And the cool thing about, I'm going to kind of go back to Illuvium, is Illuvium's really pushing the boundaries when it comes to what a title is going to do. They actually built out 3 games based off of the single title. So there is a tabletop battler where you have little creatures called alluvials. They're kind of like Pokemon, and you are the trainer for those alluvials, and they have varying levels and skills and attributes, and you put them onto a battle arena, and then you have your alluvials battle others, and as well as there's a portion of the game that's called Overworld, which takes you into this basically alien world where you get to explore the world of alluvium, and that's where the land comes into play. And each of the different territories have different resources and such. And then they create economies based off of these resources, and what certain areas have certain resources, and those resources may be more rare than others, and that creates an economy and trading within this environment. There are also games like Gods Unchained, which is a trading card game, and it's as someone, I grew up playing Magic the Gathering, a bit of a nerd, so I thoroughly enjoy that style of game. A really cool idea, and how they've implemented it allows for a thriving ecosystem, and an ecosystem that has longevity. Having a finite supply of cards, and then also with each of the cards there's rarity levels, and then within those rarity levels there's also quality levels, and to get the higher quality cards means that you have to combine lower tier cards, which means you are then burning the assets, so there is less supply. And that is an aspect that the ZK EVMs that I was talking about earlier, and the current infrastructure and the future infrastructure of a lot of the Ethereum environment is going to massively improve the performance and capabilities of these environments. Next slide. And I think that's the last of my stuff. I apologize, the formatting is a little off. I think it might be because the viewer, but my information is there if you so need it. I love teaching. I love being able to talk about the technology. There's a lot to come, and there's still so much room for me to learn and grow. And I really appreciate this opportunity. And yes, I do see the message, and I was just wrapping up. And again, I really do thank you. If there's any questions, feel free. But yeah, thank you very much.
BK, does BK have a question? Well, we are super excited. Thank you so much for joining us early this morning.
Oh, absolutely. I apologize again for the miscommunication and
No
delay.
worries. We are still privileged to have you. Thank you for coming, for providing such a richness of information. We are ready to dive in and get into the NFT Malam community and ask you more questions. We definitely want to hear more about your platforms specifically. So definitely for the spring, we will have you back to speak specifically about your platforms that you have, what you're doing in media, marketing, NFTs, your art specifically, because we want to see the juiciness. We want to see the art. So we'll be having you back again. And so once again, thank you so much. Ruler and Peace, are you going to take us out with some? We just want to let you know that your friends have been watching Benaya Azor.
I saw that. I saw D. Thank you.
She said that's amazing and congratulations. Your friend Alan Hutchinson was also watching. Yes, we had Ishmael Hassan watching from Bangladesh. Welcome, Ishmael, watching from Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, everyone who's been watching. Probably we might be going live on Instagram next week. I believe who is coming next week? We might be having First Lady.
Oh,
What?
awesome.
What? I
That's
believe
a
we
good
have
one.
First Lady. She will be discussing Web3 in marketing and marketing at the celebrity and VIP level. So we're excited to have her
That's
next
some
week.
insightful one right there.
I think it's going to be juicy. We're going to be listening to all of her insights and how celebrities and VIP businesses can use Web3 to really launch their platforms and elevate their businesses, and how they can onboard with a PR firm like First Lady has. So we're excited to have her next week and get those gems from her. So once again, Kevin D'Souza.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Honestly, it's a pleasure just having a platform to be able to share the information with. I get so much joy in being able to educate, and it's something that so many of us have the ability to do, and just because I'm an engineer doesn't make me an expert. Okay.
Right.
I've learned so much from First Lady. I've learned so much from you and so many others that have completely different backgrounds, because this technology is going to allow all of us to do something that we've always been doing, but it's just going to elevate.
Right.
So
Right.
it's amazing.
I believe it. So we're going to play a little bit of music and we're going to say goodbye until next week. Next week will be our 27th week and we're looking forward to it. So thank you everyone for joining us at NFT Malam, where we present NFTs, Web3, business, music, and more. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
And music is playing.
Thank you, Ruler and Peace, for being my co-host. And thank you, Kevin D'Souza. We're out. See you next week, everyone.
All right, everyone.
We have to do our little jam. Bye-bye, everyone.